losses, drop shenanigans, some weird stuff, you know. But yeah, I think this is going to be a cool one. Anyhow, to introduce these players, spawning over in the bottom right-hand side, playing for Team Storm Gaming, it is Nina.
And her opponent in the reds, representing the US of A, probably one of the proudest ones out there as well. It is MCanning.
This group is definitely funny. I was just taking a look at some of the map scores between players because, you know, there's so many Protoss. Some of the results are a little bit surprising. So Nina, previously, she beat PattyMac 2-0, and she lost to Pilly 2-0, lost to Disc 2-1, and then the most surprising is losing to Pure Legacy 2-0, which I didn't expect that, honestly. Whereas MCanning, he lost to Pilly 2-0, beat Pure Legacy 2-0, then lost to Australia 1-2, then lost to Disc 2-0. So they've played some of the more difficult players in the group. But yeah, definitely a bit of a Wild West situation here. Australia, one of his maps that he's lost was also to PattyMac, that's currently sitting at the bottom of the group. So it just shows you that PvP is a little bit of a slugfest.
Everybody's beating everybody except Astrea is just kind of beating everybody so far.
Absolutely, yeah.
But as far as openers go, I really feel like in Mirror these days in PvP, we don't really see too many proxies happening anymore. I don't know if it's like phased out of the meta or it's just become too risky, but at least in the games that I've seen, we don't see too many.
For a while, it was absurd how often it was happening. Like it was every game, like whether it seemed useful or not. This is a wall-off, Todd. This is definitely a wall-off. How do you feel about this one?
I think it's all right. Like, you kind of have to wall here. Nina was being extremely obnoxious, by the way, with the probe. Forcing probes to go on another patch here of MCanning the whole time. And MCanning is actually the one building a pylon into Nina as well. That's maybe to see the first few units that come out. And actually, Nina moved back with the stalkers that were there. Perhaps as to not reveal what was being made first. Sometimes you make this pylon, but that's just to see what the opponent's making out of those gateways. And probe getting caught at the top. There's stuff happening everywhere.
Yeah, so MCanning draws first blood on a probe of Nina's. Nina's expo is a little bit earlier, and her tech of choice has been chosen with a Stargate, which is, it's cool. This is going to be a different game from both of these players.
Yeah, it can be risky to go like 2 stalkers into a Stargate like this. Like, you're kind of set defensively, but then, you know, the opponent can scout you very easily and start adjusting. We already have the Twilight Council as well from MCanning, so probably more blink play here. It just seems like really solid. Like, we saw it a lot against Zerg earlier, and now it seems like even in PvP, seems to be like the popular choice. Shield Battery, even before getting... Oh, I guess no, he did scout at the same time.
Oracle is the first unit to come out of the Stargate, or at least to be produced in the Stargate. Both players just playing very, very standard with what they're doing. MCanning's the one that chooses to go for the Forge first, meaning he feels safe. Normally, Forge is something that you do as soon as you feel you're not going to die to anything.
Yeah.
So nice to get that nice and early.
I think it's good that Nina also made Shield Battery, because remember, she's playing with double Stalker first, and then she added 2 more, so she has no idea whether there was going to be an Oracle or something. So why risk it, you know? Like, it's not like it's the most expensive building or anything. You get like a Shield Battery instead of your main mineral line, and then suddenly you're like super safe.
Yeah, Twilight Council will be the follow-up as well. Seeing that this Stargate isn't continuously producing usually makes you think, okay, it's definitely like, what's a unit that's good on its own? Obviously the Oracle. MCanning, it looks like he's in position and ready to deflect anything here in this Oracle. Now Nina gets a pretty decent scout going off.
Yeah, there's no Shield Battery super close to those probes here on the left-hand side of the expansion on the patches, but can't overextend against Stalkers. They do a lot of damage. And we got the 3rd Nexus here a bit earlier for Nina than for MCanning by the look of things. And +1 for MCanning started earlier. We We saw how key that +1 can be, but Nina already has Forge at least. There we go.
Yeah, definitely. Like this is so they're both getting upgrades. They're both going about things in their own ways, which is cool. I do find it interesting that Nina, for all intents and purposes, and despite being around for such a long time, that I only ever see her practicing on the NA server. I've never seen her practice elsewhere, and I wonder if that's like a connection issue or whatever, because a lot of these players in this group, like Disc, for example, a bit of a newcomer, he's doing very well. I would kind of expect him to place top 2 in this group, because I think he's very good. He practices on Europe. MCanning practices a lot on Europe and also Korea, and he's done quite decent in the past. He finished one of these groups with like a 6-1 score or something, even beating me.
I wish you would have played on another region, man. NA is number 1.
NA number 1, baby. I do think it's quite good to traverse a little bit.
Actually, yeah, in Warcraft 3 these days, like there's a lot of Korean and Chinese players that started playing on WC Champions, which initially only had Europeans and North Americans. And in the interviews on the DreamHack broadcast, the post matches, a lot of them said that they saw so many different styles being played, and they drew some inspiration as well from some of the opponents that they had to face on the WC Champions, which was really cool. Hey, you're right. Sometimes different metas you can help out to explore.
Yeah, like I still stand by this. Like when Serral got really good, he was like kind of the first foreigner besides. There's been a few great foreigners throughout time, but Serral was the one that really blasted everything out of the water, right? And it was really the first time that Koreans had to look at a foreigner to emulate. And it took such a long time for them to do it. And I think it's because it was so unnatural for a foreigner to be so good. The Koreans had to look elsewhere. So it took a long time for the Korean Zergs to really learn how to play like Serral does. Like they almost didn't believe it for a long time. And then lo and behold, he got matched up against the Koreans and he did just as well against them. And it was like, oh, damn, we do have to respect this guy.
I think Stefano was also kind of like that. Where like he was, I think, the first Zerg to bind his lava with his army and stuff, so that whatever would come out would already be like properly binded. And then I heard that a lot of Koreans started copying that with Jedong actually at the top of that list.
Yeah, and like Neeb was also one that he influenced a lot of metas, like the Disruptor Stalker stuff. He was the one that really, I don't want to say invented it, but he definitely perfected it during that period of time. Supplies are so close between these players. MCanning takes a small lead in the probe count, and he will start the Disruptors a little bit earlier than Nina, but this is definitely leading itself towards some Disruptor blink action.
Yeah, the +2 actually just about to finish here. If that could come into play into the fight, that'd be pretty good, but there's so many Stalkers. You can't quite blink forward against this, because that might be very costly if you do. The 4th base, so much earlier for Nina, though. She's going to have a giant income lead here, actually, over MCanning. I don't know why it's delayed that so much.
It looks like he's a little bit worried about these Stalkers meandering around, and that poor Zealot. +3 is very quick for MCanning. The second Robo's getting close to up and running, and he does start his 4th base now, but yeah, Nina's definitely been a little more brazen here. Oh, wow, that was a ballsy blink forward by MCanning there.
I think Nina might be able to realize that he's taking the 4th base on the other side, so I guess pressuring here, it forces the opponent to just kind of stay there himself. Eventually, I mean, she hasn't even gone into charge. There's no charge whatsoever. It's just pure Stalker Disruptor.
Oh, maybe it's an eventual thing that doesn't need it quite now, because right now it's just about the Blink Stalkers and trying to pick off what she can here against MCanning. Oh, I like that she was trying to bait him right there into that stasis.
There's a Disruptor headed to the 4th base of MCanning on its own. Excuse me. Is that,
how do you feel about this one?
No.
Oh.
That was never going to work.
I mean, it was we'll call that ambitious, Todd. Ambitious.
That's what I'm talking about, by the way. 2 Dark Shrines in production. Here we go. Let the games begin.
And Blink DTs is on the go. I like that this Oracle hasn't been redundant, by the way. It's just gone round and been plonking some stasis, but MCanning, he was here, he spotted it, the Observer. It's definitely been a weird game, like way more passive than the other PvPs we've seen.
Yeah, small skirmishes here and there, but no commitment towards any sort of big fight so far. And yeah, as disruptors start on being added on, like you're gonna wanna really pressure. I guess the player that's playing with the most Blink Stalkers, that's great initiative. Look at this, like any units you can catch like this. Always quite great.
Oh, the Master of Disruptor.
Oh,
wow, wow. That was definitely a blink and a half, Todd. That was Nina getting a bit, what's the word? A bit crazy there. Almost a bit impatient. Yeah. That
MCanning was probably all right. Guardian Shield, it is.
Some of these disruptor plays have been a little... I'll say it again. Ambitious, Todd. Ambitious.
It's that NA meta, man. You know the movie Never Back Down?
Never Back Down.
That's it right there.
Oh. Is that one of those terrible fighting movies?
Yeah, no, it's terrible. What do you mean, man?
Like,
amazing.
You know, they go through phases. There'll be like the cheerleading movie, then you'll get like the singing movie, where they'll make like 8 of them.
Okay, I take it at home, it's only action movies for you, yeah?
Actually, the last action movie I saw, Todd, I think you'd like it.
Yeah?
Tenet.
Oh, yeah. That was an action. That was a thriller, man. That was amazing.
Is it a thriller?
No.
It's got to be action, right? It's got to be.
Nina with tremendous pressure. Oh, big connection here. And MCanning reinforcing with charge loss, actually. The thing is, there's so many stalkers with +3 now.
Oh gosh, the splits are not bad, but some of these disruptor shots by Nina, like, she doesn't need charge lots here, Todd. This is just...
Oh my god.
Gosh.
MCanning is the one that has that +3 during this whole fight, by the way. But he's got so few stalkers in comparison, trying to get the disruptors. MCanning falling behind in supply.
Yeah, it looks like MCanning tried to get something done with a counterattack, and Nina walked in a lot of DTs. Look at the resources by both these players, by the way. Nina's at 2.5k minerals.
Yeah, that's a bit unusual at this stage. If you're not going to be maxed out, but she could use a few more gates. She's on, what, how many robo? Is that like 3? Yeah, 3 robo.
And she's on 93 probes and making 5 more. Just your standard 98 probe game. What is going on here? They're all having a good time with each other.
Spear dragon move. The blink as well.
This is wild.
Oh my god, these are garbage. Against cannons and zealots. They just got pushed back so easily.
That was supposed to be a sick play. So good, Todd.
That was supposed to be a sick play where like she would kill the Nexus and that entire base, and instead that like completely got turned around.
Yeah, I hope that this 90... Oh my god, what's happening? She's actually making 6 more probes at a time here. So she's up to 104 probes while making 5 more. This might bite her.
Oh my god, she's expanding at 12 o'clock.
That's a ballsy expand. Oh, double 12 o'clock expand.
He's diversifying her portfolio. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
MCanning with some big snipe. He's on the chase now.
Yeah, I think Nina's messing up quite a bit here and getting a bit too...
She clicked on the Nexus on the bottom left. Oh my god, the disruptor shots! Got so many DTs. What is going on? MCanning just caught up in supply entirely.
Yeah, I guess this is what happens when you have 108 probes. What's going on this game?
Oh my god. That base in center, like what?
Yeah, that's also a bit of a ballsy expand. I'm not sure anymore, Todd. I don't know what to think or feel. That disruptor, it's gonna live?
Oh my god!
Oh no!
Oh goodness!
They're both What are these doing here? Okay, there's an army. Okay, yeah, this is... You know, I love NA, baby.
There's 3 disruptors down there actually at that base. For some reason, which I don't know.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh my god, the Archon! Oh my god, the friendly fire! Anyway, I'm getting recalls immediately behind.
Yeah. Oh. This is a wild game, Todd. This is wild.
I'm getting forced to evacuate that base.
Nina's probably wondering, like, hey, why does my army feel so small? Okay, I mean, these disruptor shots. Every time one of them connects on MCanning, oh my god, he blew himself up. Oh my goodness.
This is crazy. MCanning is actually one upgrade ahead with the plasma shields now. He's getting the extra one as well. The purification novas everywhere. This is literally like the 4th of July right now in that game.
This is when you have 2 boxers, and neither one of them can throw their hands up anymore to defend, and they're just punching each other in the face.
Well, it would be gassed if that was the case. Like here, they're not gassed. Somehow they got like extra stamina. But they're still going really hard. DK's blinking on top of disruptors and actually killing them super fast. Now Nina's still with a big supply lead. Yeah,
this is a game, Todd. This is a game.
Nina is taking every base in the center, by the way.
I'm still, I'm not sure if she's memeing a little bit. Like, I'm seeing this probe count go above 100 again.
Maybe it's the ideal probe count. She's like ahead of the meta.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure about that one. I mean, having a good probe count is always nice, but yeah, she's just got MCanning very contained here. That's the big deal. And even mining this wall out from this side, I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
MCanning? You say MCanning? I thought I heard MCanning.
I probably said MCanning. What do you say?
I thought it's MCanning.
You know,
so you did a mix of that and mechanics.
Maybe. Oh, this is a nice position. Oh, the disruptor shots, and look at MCanning's face here. GG. Nina takes the first game fairly convincingly by the end there.
Oof, those disruptor shots, that hurts, you know, like as somebody who's had to play some of these disruptor wars, I can tell you this is not a good feeling when your army gets blown to pieces like this, like it just happened. This was
our first full NA game of the day, though, Todd. And you know what? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, that was fun. I thought Nina was super far ahead, and I think she was. And then suddenly she started overextending a bit, and supplies got back to even. But I think MCanning maybe got a little bit overeager and pushed across the map when he shouldn't have necessarily at the time.
It was, yeah, possibly, very possibly. I mean, I like the disruptor shots. There was lots of friendly fire going on. This was truly, yeah, I mean, both of them were absolutely, it wasn't about defending or defensive micro. Like, you know, we go from that Estrella game where he's blinking individual stalkers and focus firing very nicely. This was just a slugfest in every way.
I gotta say, MCanning, this is kind of hard to recover mentally after a game like this. Ooh, that was hectic. Disruptors all over the place. He was doing bad, then he was doing good, then he was doing bad again. I don't think he was super outmatched though, or outgunned. Like I definitely think Nina's control was probably a little bit better, and her pacing of the game, and she ended up being the one that got to decide things. Like her fourth was earlier, her map control was a bit better. She was the one that was kind of putting on the pressure. And she just felt a lot more comfortable going into the game. And yeah, the probe count as well, she was obviously a lot richer. It just felt that she got to kind of like grab MCanning and tell him how she wanted to play the game as opposed to the other way around, which that can always throw you off when you're having to keep up with your opponent as opposed to the other way around. Yeah, I really wonder about those bases in the center, you know? Was it just like I'm that far ahead, almost like a minor nexus where you just keep expanding, or was that really necessary taking these?
I don't think it was necessary, but I remember I had a game against Nina a long time ago. A long time ago, we played on LAN. And I remember I mana muled. And she was very upset. And
Yeah, of course she was.
she was like, "Why would you do this?" And I was like, "Power play, power play, because I knew it would make you mad, and like you'd play worse because of it." Now, if you saw your opponent taking those paces, maybe that can, mental dominance. Like, hey, you beat me before, I won't let you do that again. Like, I'm gonna take every base on the map. I like it.
All right, let's head into map number 2 here, starting in the top right-hand side of the map. Representing the United States of America in the reds, it is MCanning.
And spawning over in the southwest side, representing Psystorm Gaming, it is Nina.
Perhaps more of the same. I feel like this might be the main side of Nina. She likes to play a lot with Blink Stalkers, then add Disruptors, and only very late start mixing in anything else. But that was a very Stalker Disruptor heavy composition here that she was playing, which is extremely demanding skill-wise. It's so hard to execute.
Yeah, Nina was one of the players that liked this comp, even in other matchups like PvT. I remember being like, man, I hate playing against Nina with her Disruptors, because it would be a totally different game compared to everybody else. Nina here, her second gas was a little bit later. I don't know whether she was thinking about getting an earlier Nexus or what have you, but yeah, it's already lining up to be a good standard PvP thus far.
I'll be honest, I'm a Protoss player, even though my pro gaming days are far behind me. The composition where you go like, Colossus, like from the old days, into High Templars and then you attack. Let's be very clear. This is the easiest composition, the easiest 200 supply to manage. You just attack, move, and then you storm. That's easy to play. But that stuff, Blink Stalkers and Disruptors, anything with Disruptors is already really hard, but now you have to synergize them with Blink Stalkers. It's like super hard to do, in my opinion. It takes so much practice. But if you can really master it, we saw what can happen in that last game with Nina just doing really well the whole time.
No, yeah, she's always been good with that kind of comp, and some of the weirder comps too. Like I've definitely felt that quite a few NA players, because do you remember that spending quotient page a long time ago? I think you were pretty high on it too, like the macro side of things.
Yeah.
A lot of the NA players were not Idra, but like a lot of the NA players weren't as high on the macro side of things, but they always tried to be a little bit fancy micro-wise, and I feel that Nina's always been very fancy micro-wise. But when it comes to StarCraft 2, the most important aspect of the game has always been like the macro part. And I feel like the micro is important, and it is important, but the macro, like what makes micro really impressive is the fact that you should be doing the macro side of it perfectly. Yeah. And whatever else is the icing on the cake.
Absolutely. It's hard to have a good balance of both. And ultimately, it comes down to mechanics.
Yeah, definitely.
What is that cheeky pylon for here on the left-hand side? Maybe just reinforcing?
Could be anything.
Sorry?
Yeah, it could be anything, that cheeky pylon. This game, though, it's far more similar between the two. Like, Nina's gone for Twilight Council this game, and she is the one getting the earlier Forge. A little bit of a mix-up there,
I wonder if MCanning is going to be trying anything different. Like, it's not like he was trying to do anything crazy either. He just went Blink into Charge. Maybe Charge was a bit early. Like, the thing about if you have extra Stalkers and the opponent goes into Zealots a little bit early, if you fight shortly after that happens, the Zealots are going to feel terrible because they're just going to charge in, they're going to die, and then Stalkers are going to blink back that lost their shields. And then you just start having more Stalkers than the opponent. That's kind of what happened last game.
Oh, this might have been a little bit cocky by Nina. Because that shield battery, that bought so much time and energy. And that was... She didn't kill a unit here, Todd.
That was pretty terrible. Kind of weird.
That is one way to put it.
Yeah, well, she didn't kill anything. She lost a bunch of Stalkers. That last one escaping, actually, I can imagine MCanning in his head being like, "Are you kidding me? How is that not blocked with the false field?"
Yeah. And I'm just going to check from her vision. Like, it didn't really have much scouting because there was no sentry or anything either. So she put a cannon at the front of her natural. I guess that's because she was maybe a little bit worried about DTs.
Yeah. Perhaps.
Even so, it's... now she's adding on 3 more gateways before a third or what have you. But definitely a different pace game here from Nina, and it's from playing a very, very late game, 100+ probe kind of game. Now she's like, you know what? Screw this. We're going full out, all in here.
Candidate gases on the expo, actually. For both players. Look, MCanning finally took his, but he hasn't saturated it yet. He's the one adding more gateways now as well. After I like that better when you make the 3rd Nexus and then you add the gates. But in this case, Nina, despite throwing away a lot of Stalkers earlier, still has a Stalker lead with 10-8 currently.
It's the trick, right? You kind of lull your opponent to a false sense of security by giving them a few units, then you wall in them. Standard.
The
This
weak
though,
cards.
Blink isn't quite done yet for MCanning, and losing a cannon straight away with no cancel. That's 150 minerals down the drain.
MCanning has to play defensive. He does have Guardian Shield. I really don't think you can go in like earlier with Blink forward. Nina trading some shields here to try and kill a sentry. Doesn't quite get it. But force one Guardian Shield, and there's not a follow-up one. Ooh, this is very bad. You'd really need a Guardian Shield here to fight effectively.
Yeah, I think the worst part of it is that MCanning's been supply blocked for a little bit of time. And behind this, even though it's very aggressive by Nina, she is getting a 3rd. So the move out's definitely been successful by her.
I wonder if MCanning might just go for a big attack. Even if you take the 3rd Nexus, you might feel like you have to attack here because your 3rd base is just so delayed. But Nina is staying on his side of the map, almost as to hold him hostage. Like if MCanning moves out, then he would just counter-attack and ignite a base race a little bit sooner than he would.
A little bit of Blink Micro going here. I think Nina's getting the better side of things and also denying the 3rd base, and yet again. It's definitely got to be said, like, MCanning's playstyle in this matchup so far, it feels that Nina has taken on the bully role, She definitely feels that she can bully around MCanning a little bit and keeps running back home. He's taking the other 3rd now, but it's so late in comparison to Nina, and Nina has just got control of this game despite the rocky opening, which just goes to show she's done everything behind or after that very well.
You can tell that MCanning's doing all right. It's just that, Nina is doing slightly better with every single engagement, at least most of the time. Yeah,
it's Nina feels very brave, and MCanning, or MCanning even, you can say it both ways. I've heard him say that. Just a little timid,
I'm sure he would love to warp in something and send it into the 3rd base of Nina, but imagine if he does that and then there's 2 units that he's missing when he gets attacked. And also, it could end up not doing much damage. We even seen a cannon there. So he actually warped in on the left-hand side here, or sent Zealots there, which right now are slow Zealots. Look at how slow they look. Like you and Roddy on the night out, man.
I mean, I wish we looked that good, stood upright, on a night out. They are... Okay. I was about to say, that is a true me and Roddy getting stalked up on.
That's it. They're going to end the night as good as you.
That's it. That's me and Roddy right there. You're finding this way too funny, young man.
Second Robo in the Disruptor production now. And Nina is always in a rush to expand. This is crazy. Already the 4th base.
It's just MCanning hasn't left his quadrant of the map, ever. And it was kind of the same on Romanticide. He's very scared. It's like...
and the one time he leaves, she shows up.
Yeah, Nina's the big bad wolf, and she's just saying she's going to huff and puff, and MCanning, he can't leave his house.
The one time he was finally going to move out, he's like, oh man, really? Just going to go come back all the way there. Double Disruptor out now, though. Definitely more initiative to fight. But wait, is Nina not going Disruptor at all?
No, she is. She's getting a 2nd Robo and finishing up the Robo Bay now. A +2 is finished as well, both of them. And
it's kind of late, though.
Oh, yeah. It's just, look at the Stalker count. she's got a good 13 extra. She went for the map control and got the 4th up faster, so they both get to a similar point, just went about it in different ways.
When I watch this game, I'm sure that MCanning would love to move out and fight, but it just feels like he can never. Like the one time he moved out, he got counterattacked immediately. He's probably picturing like this is just going to happen the exact same again. Love seeing the Dark Shrine in the production tab, though. I would love to see maybe a prism and attempts to... He just counted there's 2 cannons in the main, so that's probably not where you would go. You want to go where there's like 1 cannon, you know, and then you drop that bad boy. Kill the cannon, and then Merry Christmas. The whole base is yours.
This is starting to get to ridiculous levels, though. Like, Nina can be so damn greedy behind all this. Like, her probe count is now reaching the 80 number, which apparently isn't that crazy for her. Double Disruptor out. Her own Dark Shrine is on the way now, which is cool.
If you're an NA player and you don't get a Dark Shrine when you're up to 3 bases, are you even an NA player?
I'm not sure.
Probably not. Disruptor shot. Oh my... Oh! Woo! That's the problem with being pinned on your base, by the way. MCanning is stuck on this base here. If he moves all the way back, then Nina will attack into a good concave, and it's going to be hard for him to take the fight correctly. So he's trying to stand where he has the best chance of holding, but because of that, his disruptors are always clumped up with his stalkers, and the disruptors of Nina keep on connecting big time.
Yeah, Nina's definitely showing dominance this game. Look at the resources lost tab as well. Like, MCanning's just... It feels like... All right, I'm going to go back to the boxing thing again. It looks like MCanning is the big slow fella, and Nina is just zipping about, just like little jabs here and there, but getting the better side of things. And look at this, by the way. This expo in the top left and this expo on the far right. Like, that top left expo, that's definitely a little risky.
Cheeky. DTs being sent into cannons, that's not the trade you want here. There's Zealous covering them. Very expensive to actually do that. Nina with a very big supply lead here. 81 walkers to 71 now.
There's some disruptor shots in the dark. If one of them hits, though, then absolutely worth it.
Oh, DT's on the left.
You know when you find that base there and you're like, you cheeky sausage.
Where's the disruptors? I guess actually he left an observer. If we look at MCanning's vision, he put an observer over there and he left 2 disruptors just in case I guess some units show up, so you could blow them up.
That's kind of cool. Nina does fight to keep this base alive. There are disruptor blink walls going on now. Nina's got a much larger bank this game than MCanning does. MCanning, he's moved out to deal with this left side base, but this is the moment for
Oh
Nina.
my god!
Something just happened on the far right.
Yeah, the disruptor shot connected big time. More stalkers are gonna get blown up to pieces here. MCanning, 180 supply to 128 here. He caught Nina on both sides, and that's the risk of playing with that many stalkers against somebody who's getting a lot of disruptors. Once these start connecting, that's gonna be big trouble. Nina maybe getting a little bit too fancy here with all of those expansion, and if MCanning could look at the supply like I can, I'm pretty sure he'd be attacking right now because he's got a massive lead. 111 army to 63 now.
I mean, he's ahead now quite a bit. Like, he needs to go. He needs to make something happen, because if he lets Nina get back into this game, he's going to be kicking himself. And it does look like he is dealing damage on the other side of the map, which is exactly what he needs to do. Nina is getting way too cocky this game.
Yeah, attacking against defensive disruptors is always super tricky. You might need to attack in 2 places at once here, with the force on the left-hand side towards the natural, and with the rest towards the base on the right side. Nina with how many DTs is this? Oh my god, that's like 9 dark.
More than a handful. Yeah, more than a handful. But if they jump in, there's more than enough for MCanning to defend quite nicely. MCanning's kill, like his instinct to not attack, I think it's going to bite him in the butt this game, because he had every opportunity in the world to really do some damage and make his move out, but...
Mina's catching up in supply. That's a disruptor.
There's DTs on the right side. It's like, oh, well, can't do much against that.
DT on DT violence. Sign me up.
8 more DTs coming onto the map now for Nina. That means that she has 14 deployed.
Oh my god! That was so close. There's 2 more shots available. MCanning needs to react. He's fighting on the right-hand side right now. He's trying to micro both places at once. Dark Templars on the right-hand side. There is an observer. He's not turning around. Purification Nova are going to connect, but DT is still doing a ton of work.
Yeah, I think Nina didn't look at that side because disruptors happening on this side. If she saw it, she could have blinked out the way, and those DTs could have actually dealt a lot of damage, I feel, for Nina.
MCanning is forgetting a lot of units everywhere. Like the base that's under his main and natural. He always has 2 disruptors there. I don't know if he should rally point differently, maybe. Maybe that's intentional, but it kind of feels like if he would attack with everything on the right-hand side, he may be able to do well right now. Upgrade-wise, we're about even. MCanning went for the plasma earlier than Nina did.
Decent connections. MCanning's still ahead in supply. It's just, I feel that it feels that Nina is the more complete player in that she's trying to kill MCanning, but it's almost like the patience or the impatience rather, that's getting the better of it.
Yeah. Nina currently has 13 Stalkers against 31 and 8 Disruptors against 10. So it does feel like if MCanning could fight, but that's the thing as Disruptors, you cannot fight really straight up. Wherever you attack, there may be Disruptors getting ready to blow you up. Nina's base on the right side. What is going on here? There is a meeting of Zealots and Dark Templars. Like, is this the town hall meeting of the elderly or what? And she's whopping in more DTs.
Mate, you gotta have more DTs. Like, she only has 15, all right?
15 Dark Templars.
So many Disruptors.
They're moving up.
Wonder what. Decent shot. Certainly does.
I'm gonna ignore the warning shots, man. They're still going in.
That is so many DTs. Oh, quick blink onto those Disruptors. Did pop them.
The left-hand side, trying to get a cancel on that base. So close.
Todd, it's not often you see a little battle like this, you know? Just. I don't know why MCanning's blob, his death ball, has moved over to the top left like that.
Oh no. Look into the top right. Oh my god, that whiffed somehow.
They missed everything.
It is on the right hand side.
Oh,
that's there are Disruptors fighting DPs.
I have no idea, but blinks. The blinks weren't good enough by the looks of it. And the resources lost tab, Nina's been trading way less efficient than MCanning. Oh.
Why is the army of MCanning on the left side? You need it there. Recall.
Like, this army being over there is absolutely useless.
Oh, I think he must have unbinded it. Now he realizes he's sending everything there, but those Dark Templars, finally, you know, after... Wait, how many? He lost 32 Dark Templars so far this game.
But it's one of those... Oh my god, I think she just killed a ton of her own DTs there. This is a proper fiesta if I've ever seen one, Todd.
MCanning's catching this army now. DT's going down, Stalker's getting caught. What's happening? Supplies about even.
Look at their money though. Like, neither one of them is... yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. I think Nina is ahead this game. She does have a bigger bank as well. She has definitely traded less efficiently, but she has 85 probes against 50.
Yeah, and big bank as well. Already being ahead in supply, like Nina is gonna quite comfortably max out now.
Oh, this has been... It's been a demolition game.
Yeah, but not the kind of demolition with just, you know, random, what's it called? Tractors or whatever, I don't know what they're called, but normal machines. They use straight up dynamite and purification novas for this one.
Yeah.
Oh, Zealot's coming from behind. He tries to recall, but he forgets units. Oh!
I think that's the beginning of the end right there, Todd. Like, that was the kind of fight that Nina needed just to make sure that McCanning's back on his side, but also, I think a lot of this was down to Nina trying to kill McCanning with anything she could. And sometimes when you're trying to kill somebody, you can get a bit carried away, or, you know, something doesn't work out. But yeah, McCanning he's a proper turtle in PvP, man.
Yeah, sadly, doesn't seem like he's gonna do him any favors here. Last main base that's mining is the one on the top left, and it's about to go down. Nina, absolute killer instincts. Like, she's always attacking non-stop, not giving any air to MCanning. If she did that, he might have been able to finally go for an attack, which would have been dangerous, but he's focusing on the defense on the right-hand side. Still has a decently sizable army. It's actually 79 to 98, but water count 36 to 83. That's going to give time for Nina to max out and start building a bank before the big engagement begins.
Yeah, it's just... I feel that McCanning, even if he knew he was ahead at any point, he just didn't have the kill switch, you know? And like, Nina can just kind of blink some DTs into his army. She's so rich behind all this. It's always a bit sad when you watch a game where even if one player was to get a lead, you kind of knew that they weren't really going to do anything with it anyway. And Nina was the player that had all the flair. And it's sad because I know McCanning is a very good player, but this was a total stylistic mismatch for him.
Catches a base on the left-hand side and gets the cancel. Purification Nova. Oh, didn't blink on time.
This is nice from Nina.
Yeah, there's a big surround being set up by Zealots. Both players did a good job. Oh, he's backed into a corner. Nowhere to go now. Literally nowhere to go.
Oh, these disruptor hits are big from Nina. She's dancing. She's playing with her food. And that is the end for McCanning. GG. Nina takes it 2-0.